right, so I'm a big fan of consistency. And if you've seen really good progress through your off season, you've made some good gains, your training is going really well, especially at the end of the off season, you're still seeing some progress there in the gym. You don't want to necessarily derail that progress or that consistency by changing up your training program just because you're starting a contest prep. Really, nothing has to change. Keep in mind that, at the start of a contest prep, you still have a decent amount of body fat on you. So you still have plenty of available energy on your body. Sure, the calories are probably going to be reduced, out the gates in order to facilitate that deficit. But if you're planning the prep accordingly, wisely, like you're giving yourself enough time to take off the body fat that you need to lose, and you probably want to set that up to where you're losing 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week, then again, out the gates with a lot of the available energy still on your body and the calories, let's say a little bit lower, but nothing overly invasive, you're still going to have the ability to maintain your progress in the gym. You're going to have that ability to continue to lift a little bit heavier, maybe add some more reps in there. And the recovery shouldn't be so compromised in the early stages because the demand isn't, let's say, so high where the supply isn't going to be, within reason. So I don't think you need to really change the training at all. I think you basically just kind of, just continue with the same program in place and be reactionary, not so much proactive. Like, if you're proactive, you change everything up as the prep starts, then you have a lot of moving parts going on there. The fact that you've lowered calories down, you might have added in some steps or added in some cardio. And then now you also, overhauled the training program. So there's a lot of moving parts there. So it's going to be a lot harder for you to assess. And not to mention, you are contest prepping now. So sometimes it's a little bit harder to remain objective with how things are going with your prep. So you don't want to have that many moving parts. So I'd say, again, keep the training exactly the same and keep that consistent and just be reactionary. So as the prep unfolds week to week, and no doubt in theory, as you continue to prep and as you continue to lean down and possibly have to, let's say, lower calories down or add steps or a combination of the two, you might start to notice that your fatigue levels will start to, rise up a little bit. But then, from there, you have to kind of assess it. Does it make more sense to maybe just, add in an extra rest day? Does it make sense to maybe chop down a little bit of set volume? Does it make sense to maybe change out some exercises? If you're, let's say, squatting and deadlifting, those are pretty demanding exercises. So would it be wiser to maybe go to, some less invasive exercises, maybe a leg press instead of squat, maybe an RDL instead of deadlift or hyperextension instead of deadlift. So, doing those types of things can, in a sense, just be small enough adjustments, small enough tweaks to where your supply and demand, match up a little bit better. But again, I think it's, wiser to be reactionary than it is to just, from the start of prep, just overhaul everything. Because again, there's just going to be so many moving parts there. It's going to be hard to assess and it'll be harder to adjust, as you move forward. So the name of the game, not just with, the training out the gates of a prep, but anything that we do in bodybuilding, when things are a little bit more static, it's easier to assess, especially if you're very consistent and you're very precise with how you're doing things. It's easier to assess what you're getting from that. And, once you kind of make the assessment, and then therefore know how to adjust better. And when you make those adjustments, I would kind of aim for the more conservative adjustments, because anytime you do something that's a little bit assertive, there's maybe a little bit more room for error there. So that's my take on that, and hopefully that helps out, and best of luck with the prep.